Since the inception of my Patreon channel, I've always put my more controversial topics here as opposed to my free channels. The idea was that if I put my controversial posts on Patreon, because of the paywall, it's less likely that I'll get into any kind of trouble. Now, this video that I'm posting here on Patreon, I don't think I'd get into any kind of trouble, but it's something that I prefer to keep on the down low. And since you guys on Patreon follow me and you care about my content, well, this is for you. You see, a lot of us grew up with a Wild West internet. I mean, I remember growing up in the 90s and posting on random chat boards and whatnot, and people were outraged and they said they'd call the police on me and whatnot, and all of a sudden I was like scared at first, and then I'd think and I realized, hey, they can't call the police. They have no fucking idea who I am, huh? Yeah, that's the thing about the internet. Anonymity. Anonymity. The days of internet anonymity are coming to a close. A lot of people in a lot of different industries can already tell you that de facto it's over. And so it's important in these last moments of some freedom on the internet that you set yourself up for the future to both protect yourself and be able to express yourself as you see fit. You see, how is the internet anonymous? Well, very simple. You set up an email account on Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or whatever free site you want. You set up an email account, and from that email account, you create accounts on the different social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. Now, these social media accounts are attached to your internet address. And this internet address, how did you get it? Well, more likely than not, the company giving you this free account will ask you for a telephone number, or perhaps for some other email address. However they go about doing it, however they go about verifying the new email address that you're getting, it's really fairly easy to slip by and create an email account that is completely divorced from your real life identity. Suppose, for instance, to give an example of this, that I arrive at some random city, doesn't matter which one, say Kansas City, Kansas. I show up there at the airport and I go to the airport, telephony kiosk or whatever, where they sell cell phones, and, say I want to buy a cheapy cell phone with a prepaid card. And they're like, sure, and they sell me the cheap cell phone with a prepaid card. Now, I pay cash. And so because of that, there's no connection between me, Gonzalo Lira, and this new cell phone and this new cell phone number. Now, I use this cell phone to set up an email address. And from this email address, or perhaps I set up several email addresses, I'm able to get onto Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and Google accounts and whatnot, YouTube. I create a YouTube channel. I can do everything, all based on this telephone that I bought with this prepaid SIM card. So in essence, I'm completely anonymous. There's nothing to tie me personally to all these social media accounts that I create, right? And that's the beauty of the internet today. It's fairly easy to establish an anonymous online presence. But these days are coming to a close. What's happening is that in a lot of different countries, including the United States, the governments, for various reasons of their own that aren't important to get into in this particular video, they want to track people. They want to track people and find out exactly what they're doing. And so the push is going to come in the name of security to connect everyone's social media presence to their actual identity. In 5 years, and certainly in 10 years, it will be impossible to create an online presence that is completely anonymous and divorced from your true identity. And something else that's going on too. So many companies nowadays are checking up on your online presence. They're checking up on your online presence, not just your LinkedIn, which is like your professional Facebook. No, they're also checking in on your actual Facebook, your actual Instagram, your actual YouTube channel. They want to know you through your social media presence. And that creates all kinds of problems now, doesn't it? It happens all the time that some guy is up for some job at some company, and in his Instagram feed like 5 years ago, there's pictures of him that was all drunk in Cancun with some buddies, flipping people the bird and wearing a t-shirt with the Confederate flag. Something as trivial as that can cost you your fucking job, right? So it's actually fucking dangerous. Your social media becomes a danger to your job prospects. And this is a reality today. And it's only going to get worse into the future. Prospective employers, prospective business partners will start scrutinizing your online presence, looking at it closer and closer to make sure that you're the right sort of person, that you're not an online extremist or some shit like that. And so, therefore, if you realize that your future is going to depend on your online presence, then you had better start to scrub your online presence and anonymize yourself, curate yourself. Let me explain. You're you, and you are like a college guy, whatever. You have Instagram, Facebook, all the typical shit, right? What I would do is I would very consciously create two parallel tracks. I would create one online presence that's my official online presence. And it's where I say all the right things, where I post the pictures of me and my parents and my grandparents at my cousin's wedding. You know, all those pictures that I don't have a problem if my employer sees them. All those pictures and all those opinions that I don't mind if anybody hears about. You know, I think that, I don't know, you know, the Cowboys suck, you know, the football team, right? You know, the Cowboys suck and, you know, long live the Patriots or some crap like that. Another football team, if you're not into American football. This is a trivial opinion. Who gives a shit if you're a Patriots fan and not a Dallas Cowboys fan, huh? But some other opinions, political opinions, can get you into serious fucking trouble. And so you have to create this squeaky clean internet presence. The pristine, you call it that. And you have to do it now while you still can. Because what will happen as more and more efforts go into controlling people's online presence, it's going to be harder and harder to create these two tracks. One, which is the squeaky clean you, and the other one where you fuck around. Yeah, the fuck around online presence is where you can let your hair down. You can post the pictures of you getting drunk in Cancun, or post the comments that you'd be afraid a prospective employer might see and might fire you because of. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, what you have to be doing is creating these two tracks, and do it now while you can. Because I insist, in 5 years, 10 on the very outside, no one will be able to create an anonymous account online. Everybody will be obliged to show some sort of proof of ID in order to get verified and have access to these email accounts. And what I do believe will happen is that a lot of email accounts, a lot of email systems will start to require a photo ID in the not too distant future, all in the name of safety and security. You have an online media presence right now under your own actual name. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Well, what I would do is I would go through all of it with a fine-tooth comb and delete any picture, any comment, anything that might make me look bad. Not because it might make me look bad now, but because of the future. Because of future employment opportunities, future business opportunities. And this is a shitty thing, but you gotta be realistic and you gotta be practical here. In the future, anything that you say on your social media can cause you trouble. It's already happening to a lot of people today. It's gonna get worse into the future. So you go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. Any picture that is embarrassing, you delete it. And you got to be careful too. Because if you have some picture of you with your buddies down in Cancun getting drunk, your buddies on their accounts will have pictures of you. And because of facial recognition technology, those pictures probably have your name tagged. And so you're going to have to start hunting around for all those embarrassing pictures of you. and telling your friends, hey, scrub it. Or else if they don't scrub it, flag it. Go to Facebook and flag that picture so that they'll delete it, so it doesn't hurt you in the future. I mean, this is a shitty thing, but it's what's coming. It's what's coming. And to pretend otherwise, man, and to have like wishful thinking that it'll all get better. Bullshit. It's going to get worse. You know? The Wild West days of the internet are long gone. And the days of the corporate internet where you are ID verified, that's coming. That's coming, and there isn't going to be a hell of a lot that you can do about it. And there will likely be prohibitions on anybody using truly anonymous email addresses. I'm not particularly familiar with this, but I understand that Proton Mail is fairly anonymous. I'm sure that in some future date, in 5 to 10 years, Facebook will not allow you to have Proton Mail as the email that originates your account on Facebook. It'll have to be a Gmail account or a Yahoo account or Hotmail account, it doesn't matter. But the point is, they will force you to set up an account using a security approved email address. And from there, that email address will require you to be ID verified. And that's how the process will happen. And people aren't going to resist. People are not going to resist because they're going to say that in the name of security, we should do this. I mean, come on. Do you have something to hide? If you have something to hide, then you're one of the bad guys. So, only bad guys have something to hide. But if you're a good guy, you don't have anything to hide. So why don't you show your photo ID so that we can verify your Facebook account, your LinkedIn account, your Instagram, your Gmail account, your YouTube account? Why don't you want to comply? What do you have to hide? Are you one of the bad guys? No, that's the kind of bullshit that's going to go down. And it's going to go down, okay? Don't pretend that it's not. So start scrubbing your social media accounts now. And the other thing that you should be doing, of course, is you should be buying the domain name that you have. I personally am the owner of both GonzaloLira.com and CoachRedPill.com. Years ago, somebody actually bought my GonzaloLira.com because back in the day, back in 2008, 2010, around then, I had a social media presence. I had a blog, a financial blog. That was fairly successful. And because of its success, some smart guy went and bought the GonzaloLira.com domain name. And it just slipped my mind. I never thought of it because I'd set up my blog on Blog Post for free. And somebody bought it out from under me. And, I was unhappy about it, but that was the breaks. And then years later, the guy who'd bought it let it lapse. And there it was on GoDaddy, and I bought it. I grabbed it as soon as I possibly could. Yeah, and I'm not going to let go of it. I've prepaid for 20 years at this point, but you see my point. See, you got to buy the domain name of your name. And if your name is fairly common, then you don't have to worry about it. But if your name is fairly unique, you have to buy it. You have to buy it and you have to own it. You don't have to put up anything on it, but you're going to have to pay the $12 or $15 a year, whatever the fuck it is, so that nobody fucks with you. Nobody sets up some bullshit under your name and creates all kinds of havoc for you because it's easy and it's doable. And so fuckers will do it. Yeah, but domain names are not really that important. I mean, they're important, but if you have, like I said, a fairly common name, nobody's going to care. Because it can be, if your name is John Smith and somebody else has the johnsmith.com page, they could have, CP, and nobody's going to give a fuck because everybody's going to know that your name is common and that's not you, and that's that, right? But if your name is fairly unique, then be smart, okay? Okay, that's set aside. Now, moving on onto the whole social media stuff. Look, bottom line, you're going to have to be very, very careful moving forward. It's just an unfortunate situation, but that's the way of life. You're going to have to be very, very careful and start thinking about it now. And if you're not sure, what you can do is just fucking delete everything. I mean, social media is very useful to come into contact with people who have similar interests and whatnot. But bottom line, it's a huge time suck. I mean, I know what I'm talking about. I mean, I do this shit. I've been doing this now for 4 years? I know whereof I speak. This shit is a huge time suck. And the benefits are, if you're successful at it, with over 100,000 followers on YouTube, say, or over 500,000 on Instagram, then it can potentially be lucrative. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding around. You can make a lot of money from ad revenue, and on Instagram, the sponsorship deals, holy shit, they're incredibly good with just 500,000 followers, right? But the thing is, see, if you're not one of those people, which is the vast majority of people who use social media, it's just not fucking worth it. It is a huge time suck. So my suggestion is get out of that social media bullshit. You don't really need it, okay? But if you do need it, or more to the point, if you think that future job opportunities, employment in whatsoever business or field will require that you show your prospective employer your social media presence, well, create this squeaky clean social media presence. Go out of your way. Take the effort. It doesn't take that long. It'll probably take you just a day to scrub through all your shit, and maybe another couple of days of just contacting people who might have, pictures of you or whatnot that could prove embarrassing. And you scrub it and you're done. Think of it as hygiene, like going to the dentist, okay? You're gonna have to do it because it's not that if things go bad, your teeth rots. If things go bad, your life is ruined.